could not wait for physical media for this movie. Oh no. Godzilla X Kong, or some people say Godzilla Cross Kong, or just Godzilla Kong. I don't know which it's supposed to be. I'm just going to say GXK. How's that? Of course, I had seen Godzilla -1 back in December. Fantastic movie. And everything was really serious and not very lighthearted, but still a fantastic movie. One day I'll finally do my review of that.
I assure you, Lord Vader, my men are working as fast as they can.
Perhaps I can find new ways to motivate them.
This movie, GXK, very different. It's a science fiction, of course. This takes place in the Monsterverse. Now let's remember back to Godzilla 2014. We barely knew about Monarch. We barely knew about these monsters that lived under the ground. And now we got a hollow Earth. We have a realm where monsters can pass freely in and out of. And we know all about it. And we have outposts down there. And okay, what? And it gets even crazier and expands upon all that stuff in this movie. They have specialized agents of Monarch. There's one guy's like a doctor or a kaiju veterinarian. Yeah, that came out of nowhere. And they discover ancient ruins of civilization of people that have lived in the Hollow Earth for millennia, I guess. I don't know. Like, holy crap, they're throwing so much stuff at us here. But when it comes to, like, the science in this film, it don't make no sense. Or they just went so off the rails and they're just like, oh, it's magic. I mean, they try and explain the anti-gravity inside the Hollow Earth. Their reasonings behind it are, like, something to do with crystals and some kind of liquid metal, magical red liquid metal that... Like, what the fuck, man? Okay, so the premise of the movie is this. Kong, down there in the Hollow Earth, stumbles upon, like, a tribe of other giant apes, like other Kongs, I guess. He meets a little mini Kong, whose name is Zuko, probably the best character in the movie. They discover there's a threat, and there's, like, a leader of these other tribe of apes, and he's this tyrant that wants to basically attack the Earth and escape from his hell that apparently Godzilla put him in. Meanwhile, Godzilla's up on the surface gaining power, and he's like attacking nuclear reactors, and he's beating up other monsters and absorbing their energy and shit. And like, the entire plot has to do with the monsters, and it doesn't have to do with the humans or anything that they're doing. Yeah, they get involved, but they really don't do very much in this movie. We came here to see the monster fights, right? And oh boy, do you get a bunch of monster fights in this. Even more so than Godzilla King of the Monsters, which of course I really enjoyed. This one, it's over the top. This is a 2-hour movie. We're close to 2 hours. And at least 50% of that time you're seeing giant monsters on screen. And our human characters, I mean, they're just there for, I don't know, exposition and slight comic relief. I guess I should get that out of the way. The human actors that are in this, we get from the previous movie, Godzilla vs. Kong, we get Rebecca Hall returns as the same character. Can't remember her character's name, I don't care. And she's like Kong Wrangler or something, or she's part of the Kong monitoring facility. Then you get Kaylee Hottle, who plays her adopted daughter, who was one of the tribal members of Skull Island, the last survivor of Skull Island. She's hearing impaired, she's deaf, communicates with sign language. Anyway, she's fine. Also returning from the last film is Brian Tyree Henry, plays a character called Bernie, who's like this conspiracy theory guy. I'm not even really sure why he's in this movie, because he doesn't really do anything other than react to stuff and try and make the audience laugh, because he's like, oh my god, we're going into zero G, whoa, that was crazy. Yeah, he's not that funny. He's okay. He had a few laughs here and there. Then you get added to the cast is Dan Stevens. He's the veterinarian guy, the Titan veterinarian. He actually replaces Kong's tooth at one point. I guess before I go any further, I should say spoilers. I'm going to spoil the hell out of this movie, because you should go see it, and then it won't be a problem. So yeah, turn it off here if you haven't already. Let's get back to the monsters. So Kong finds a tribe of apes led by the Scar King, who's like this big red fur, almost orangutan looking guy. I mean, he's got the big long arms, and he fights with a whip, which is made from the spine of some kind of giant creature. It's got like a crystal on it, and with this crystal, he controls Shimo, which is this gigantic, well, they're all gigantic, but this like extra huge titan. Anyway, he's controlling it with this like crystal or whatever, and he's causing it pain, and he's got the thing chained up. And Shimo, I guess, is kind of like dumb, like I don't know, like just a beast, right? But the thing is like twice the size of Godzilla. It's like a quadruped, like a horse or something. I mean, it gets ridden as a horse by a couple of different monsters, and it has like a freezing blast beam, like the frost powers or whatever, like Iceman, right? So Kong and Mini Kong, Suko, they seek out the humans because Kong was like injured in this encounter with the Scar King, and Shimo, he gets like blasted in the arm and it freezes his arm. He's got horrible frostbite, and but they escape from the bad apes, and there's lots of them too. And they go see the humans, and the humans conveniently have this mechanical arm thing that they give to Kong that not only heals his wounds, but also like makes him stronger, so he can punch like twice as hard or something. And the shot of Kong when he first gets it and he raises his fist in the air and he's like, roar, it was so cheesy and so dumb, and I loved it. But yeah, so eventually they have to also recruit Godzilla to help them stop the Scar King and Shimo. So Godzilla gets summoned to the core of the earth. Oh, meanwhile, Godzilla transforms. He fights like the Tiamat, which is like a serpent. Kind of reminds me of Manda from the original Toho, like Showa era kaiju movies. Yeah, so he absorbs Tiamat's power, which is like something to do with magnetic radiation or what the hell, electromagnetic radiation or UV, I don't know, but absorbs it all up at the North Pole, and then Godzilla kills that creature and absorbs all the power and transforms, and now he's all pink, and he's got pink glowy energy instead of blue glowy energy. Oh, and there's one other funny thing I noticed in here about Godzilla specifically, is that earlier in the film, he's actually, when he fights Scylla, which is like the spider thing, and he fights it in Rome, and after he defeats it, he goes to sleep in the Colosseum, or the Roman Colosseum, and he curls up in there like a little cat, whatever, in his little bed. But then the next time that he gets awoken, as he's like bursting out of the Colosseum or whatever, they show in the foreground some graffiti, and it's like Godzilla like looking all chubby and stuff, and you know, eating fast food. Like, what are you, fat shaming Godzilla? Like, but yeah, then he transforms via the energy that he got from Tiamat, and he's all slimmed down. It's like, what the? It was just dumb, but it was amusing. That's the whole thing about this entire movie, is it's amusing. There's so much stuff that made me laugh in here, especially when Suko, he's kind of an enemy at first of Kong, because he's with all these other Kong-sized apes that attack Kong, and there's one point where Kong picks him up and swings him around and hits the other apes with the little screaming monkey, and oh man, it was so funny. And Suko himself, I thought, was pretty funny, because he was a little creepy at first, and at first you thought, oh, he's just going to be a little cute guy, but no, he actually has like a little personality where he's not really sure if he should trust Kong, and he tries to ditch him or tries to betray him a little bit, and Kong still keeps him around, and Suko actually helps save the world, Hollow World. Then there's another scene in the desert, actually by the pyramids, where Kong confronts Godzilla, and he's wearing his new power glove, and they're like fighting again in the pyramids, where it was like before, like Kong's like, no, we're friends, right? Remember? He's like, whoa, take it easy, man. But Godzilla still wants to fight him, I guess, because that's what he does. And the funniest part of that scene has to be the suplex off the pyramids that Godzilla does to Kong. It was like legit tag team wrestling going on in this movie. It's almost as blatant and almost as crazy as in something like Godzilla vs. Megalon or Godzilla vs. Gigan. So ridiculous, some of this stuff. But it really worked for me, because those are some of the movies that I really love from Godzilla, are the just ridiculous ones where you put it on and you can just laugh at this movie the entire way through. Before, I mean, we used to laugh at the poor dubbing and the ridiculous storyline with all the human stuff, and then goofy monster battles. Well, now you get like 80% goofy monster battles and monster stuff, and 20% humans. Well, more like 60-40, I think. But I think that's a good ratio. So, okay, so Kong goes to recruit Godzilla. And so they get Mothra to intervene as well. So then they go back to the Hollow Earth after picking up Godzilla, and they have to fight the army of giant apes and the Scar King and Shimo. And for whatever reason, the gravity is turned off. So we have this anti-gravity fight between all these gigantic monsters, and it's so bizarre and so weird, but super entertaining. And you get to see them like flipping around and stuff, and then the gravity turns back on, and then they all fall through a portal, and then they come back to Rio de Janeiro, and then they fight in the city, and it was crazy. It was so crazy, and I loved it. It was super entertaining, and the final battle I thought was like one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a Godzilla movie. So overall, did I enjoy this movie? Hell yeah, I enjoyed this movie. I don't care that the science don't make no sense, and I don't care that some of the human characters' jokes just aren't funny. I don't care. I got to see Godzilla fight like 5 different monsters, and I got to see Kong fight like 5 different monsters, and I got to see a little mini Kong. I got to see like King Kong punching the tooth out of the Scar King. Hey, this is what I paid my money for. So I'm very happy to have seen GXK. And this movie, just like Godzilla vs. Kong, is exactly the kind of Godzilla movie that I want to see going forward. I mean, I don't know what the plans are from here, because like, what do you do now? Like, I guess take him into space, like Jason and Leprechaun, and I mean, we already had one monster from space, but there's plenty more. Legendary Pictures just has to cough up a few more billion yen to use the name of like Gigan or Space Godzilla or whatever. If you're a Godzilla fan at all, you're probably gonna love this. I mean, it might not be one of your favorites, might not be your favorite style of Godzilla movie, but it was mine. So I'm gonna go ahead and give GXK an A, solid A, almost A plus. Just something there is missing. Maybe not so much missing, but just that there was so much in there. Maybe they had to get rid of some stuff. But that's not a criticism at all, because I am super happy with this movie and I want to go see it again immediately. I'm going to own this on physical media, but I'm going to try and see it in the theater as many times as I can before it leaves. And I suggest that you do too. Yeah, Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, A. But until next time, have a good one, everybody.